Welcome to the Roy Snarr Show, entrepreneurship and giving back. Now, here's your host, Roy Snarr.
Well, the truth is this, is that whatever we take in, it's hard to release it. You have to be intentional. There's 4 things I want to give you, right? I want you to ask yourself this question. Write this down. What are you watching on a daily basis? What are you listening to on a daily basis? And what are you reading on a daily basis? And lastly, right, who's around you every day? Because if you're around 9 broke people, guess what? You're going to be the 10th one. But if you're around 10 Roys, you're going to be the 11th multimillionaire. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. We've all heard that saying, but do we really understand what it's saying?
Right.
And if you're tired of being broke, if you're tired of just living paycheck to paycheck, if you're tired of the mundane in your life, well then stop being around those 9 people that are mundane and put yourself, one of the biggest things when I started my journey is when you leave that 9 to 5, when you leave that corporate American job, there's a part in the middle where I call it, it's the metamorphosis stage.
Oh, okay.
You're becoming that butterfly that you were born to be. You're no longer that caterpillar, but in the cocoon is where it's painful, because in the cocoon is where the caterpillar dies.
Yeah.
In the cocoon is where the old Roy died.
Right.
In the cocoon is where the old Daniel died. And it stunk. I was lonely. I cried. I wanted to run back to what I knew, because you're going through, it's like going through surgery, which you really are. You're dying to your old self.
Wow.
But I promise you, once you come out of that cocoon, you're stronger, you're flying. You see things from a higher altitude.
Yeah.
You're no longer seeing things from the caterpillar's perspective. You're up here from the butterfly.
That's a good way to say it.
And it's just amazing of who you become and who you start. Now you start. I mean, I met you, right? But really, if you think about it, I attracted you to my life because
vice versa.
You're at a higher frequency, and we're living life here, and everybody wants the things, right? They want to be in the frequency energy level here, but everything they want's up here, but they don't realize it.
And it's amazing, speaking of that frequency and how you connect with, when you start thinking differently and living differently, naturally people will come into your lives. And it's almost scary how quick that happens. And my mom always used to tell me, hey, you can't soar with the eagles if you're on the ground with the turkeys. Yeah. Right. So it's like, you got to pick your friends wisely. And it's hard. Even today, I have people that say, hey, look, we just want to hang out. It's been forever. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just like, hey, you know what? We're just focusing on the family and the business. I only surround myself now with people that are like-minded. Either we're doing business together or there's a business opportunity. That may sound weird or selfish, but it's helped prepare me extramentally in the last few years by just having that mindset. It's no offense to everybody, right? Hey, cool. You live your life, do what you want to do. You want to change it? Cool. Come hop on this train. But I have to pick my friends wisely now.
I love what you said, but I'm going to add another level to that.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
You got to pick the family members you're going to hang out with wisely too.
Oh yeah. There's family, there's relatives, right? There's a big difference.
but you got to think about that, because sometimes the people that hold you back the most from what you aspire to be or become is your family. They mean well.
Yeah.
But their dream is not your dream, or your dream is not their dream. And you have to protect your dream. You have to protect your gift. So ask yourself, what family member do I need to let go of? What do I need? I had this cousin of mine. I loved her with all my heart. So much, right? We were so close, but she liked to party, she liked to drink, and she just liked to talk about people.
Gossip.
And that's like, I felt a conviction. I said, I got to detach myself from that. And I couldn't expect her to change. So I said, look, I love you, but I'm on this path, and you either respect it or you don't, but I'm going to go after what I wanted to do. And,
wow.
And I really believe that one of the main reasons I accelerated so quickly as a motivational speaker and really grew in the speaking realm, which then opened up many more doors to becoming an author and becoming a book publisher and all these things that we do now with our speaking academy, is that you have to count the cost of what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And so many of us, we count the cost for the future, but what's the cost right now if nothing changes?
Wow.
What's your COI? Write that down. What's your COI? Your cost of inaction.
Oh, wow. I'm an insurance guy, so I'm thinking cost of insurance, because that's an acronym we use. But that's the same thing.
What's your cost of inaction?
Yeah, that's awesome. What is your cost of inaction?
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
If I would have looked at the fact that, man, it cost me thousands of dollars to write this book, publish this book, right? I would have said, oh, you know what? I don't want to spend $8,000. It's a lot. Yeah. Cost of inaction. Stop me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now this book has made us millions.
Yeah.
Because the book led to an online program, led to our live millionaire making boot camp that we just had this year. our second one.
Wow.
And the thing is, we're changing lives and pouring into people.
Yeah.
So the cost of inaction is people's lives.
Yeah, that's good, right? Great, and it compounds too, because you think, oh, I'll do it. I'll start next weekend or whatever it may be, or next week. But now you've lost a week, and if you actually look down, like Ryan Serhant is a very successful real estate mogul, and he has this whole thing about every second counts. What are you doing with every second? If you really break down, analyze your day, how much time are you spending, flipping through TikTok or something else that's totally pointless, right? And if you actually, do an audit of that, I was doing that. I'm like, man, I'm spending like 2 hours a day on YouTube. I'm like addicted to YouTube,
Wow.
And I was like, I gotta like limit those 2 hours. Maybe I just did 1 hour a week to read a book, right? 1 hour a week. So that's 4 hours a month. And then you compound that over time. And that's how real winners actually win and achieve way more. I mean, just do an audit of your own time and you will be surprised how much you're actually wasting. The other thing too, that drove me to that, I think about some of the most successful people in the world, and we have the thing that we have equal is time. They can do it in that time frame. Why couldn't I? Why am I having the excuse that there's not enough time for me to do that? I have too many other things to do. I'm not delegating it properly. I'm not thinking about it properly.
Or we make the mistake that's why I don't ever call myself an expert, even though they say Daniel's an expert, right, in business, because I'm an award-winning business coach. But the truth is, too many experts think they know it all.
Yeah.
And then they stop growing, right? And we all know this: when you're green, you grow; when you're ripe, you rot.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
And I don't want to be right. I don't want to rot. So continue growing. Right? If I'm a perceived expert, great.
Sure.
I receive it, but I never call myself an expert because I'm always learning. I'm always growing.
That's
I learn from my son. I learn from everybody around me, and that's a mistake that we make, because once you think you know it all, we know those people, don't we?
Yeah.
You know somebody like that.
Exactly. And I think one of the cool parts about Daniel is that he's actually done it. You see, today with the internet, there's all this fake gurus like, oh, I made $1 million in drop shipping in 1 week and buy my course. Like, a lot of that's BS, right? But Daniel's actually built it from the ground up. He's gone through it, the struggles, he can share with that. So when you take mentorship, you buy a coaching program, you buy a book to read, you want to go through somebody who's actually done it and then built something that's actually recognizable and branded. Because a lot of these other fake people online, you got to be careful of that. And that's why we like having you here, and why we're such good friends. We've been through, different struggles, but we've been through struggles, and we started from nothing, from scratch, and then built it all the way up. And now we help people that way. Yeah. And that's way better too, because what's a better teacher? Like the guy that teaches you economics at school, what does he do? Make $100,000 a year? That's it. If that. And at a university, he doesn't know anything, so you're going to take advice from that. I mean, you have to pass your test, not against school, but it's the same theory.
To that point, over 90% of college professors that teach business, I've never had a business that even 90% don't have a business that makes $100,000.
Yeah, never.
So think about that.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. And they're teaching you
over 90% have not made $100,000. Don't have a business that makes $100,000. And they're trying to teach you business.
Oh yeah, I remember I took an entrepreneurial class in college, and it was the same thing. I asked the professor, and this was like when I was just starting to learn. I was like, okay, so what business did you own before that you're teaching us about? I was like, well, I haven't owned a business. I'm just teaching the principles of entrepreneurship. I was like, that doesn't work that way. Like you have to go through the grind, and that's real entrepreneurship. Like all these other things, like I got to learn to do the COGS analysis or bookkeeping. No, you can delegate that stuff. There's people that do that. Focus on what you're really good at. And I think it's a hard thing that people may have a challenge discovering too with themselves, is that not everybody's extroverted like us, but even as an introverted person, you can still become hyper successful. You just got to feel like, what are you good at, and focus on that task and try to delegate all the other stuff away.